Hey everybody, welcome back. It's only 61 days till Halloween, so I have some more Halloween Dollar Tree DIYs for you guys today. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram and Facebook at Jessica Lynn at Home and share your DIYs with me. I would love to see them. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure to stick around by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. All right, let's get started. For this first DIY, I have been eyeing the pumpkin doorway arches that I see people make with the large carvable pumpkins you can get from Joann's or Michael's, but those can get pretty pricey, so I wanted to try to make something like that for a more affordable price. So I went to Dollar Tree and I found these wood cutout pumpkins, and I measured my doorway and I got 20 of the large wood pumpkins to fit all the way around the doorway, and then I got 9 of these medium-sized pumpkins with the stands. I just cut the stands off with an X-Acto knife and they popped right off. And then I got 2 packs of the smaller pumpkins. I spray painted my pumpkins with some black spray paint just from Walmart. I used 3 cans of those to cover the front and the back. And then I took my pumpkins to my doorway. I started out with the larger pumpkins and I just used some mounting tape from Dollar Tree and I put those on the back of the pumpkins, and then I just placed them all around my doorway until I filled it up. And then with the medium-sized pumpkins and the smaller pumpkins, I used those in between the bigger pumpkins just to kind of fill in some more space and give it some more dimension. So that is totally optional. You could just do the bigger pumpkins and I think it would still look adorable. And then I took some of these orange lights from, they actually came from Amazon. They're 100 count, and I thought they would go all the way around, and they almost did. I think if I had a smaller doorway, it would definitely go all the way around, but that's okay because I had a pack of the 20 count orange lights that I just added to the bottom there, and this turned out so beautiful. I love how it looks. You could put it on the inside, the outside, and it cost me under $60 to make this arch, which is a lot less than what it would cost me with the bigger, larger carvable pumpkins. I think it turned out perfect for Halloween. For this next DIY, I'm going to make a ghost out of this mop head from Dollar Tree. I just took it out of the package and then I wanted to make it more full and more distressed, so I untangled each one of the strands of the mop head. This did take about 15 or 20 minutes to do, but it was really simple. So I just sat back and watched a little TV, and then I just unraveled each strand until the whole thing was done. So unraveling the strands did make it a lot thicker and fuller, which was good, but I did want to get more of a rustic, ragged look, so I used a comb and I just lightly combed the strands out just a little bit. You don't want to comb too much because it does pull out some of the mop pieces if you do it too much. So just a little bit, just to make it a little more ragged. And then I'm going to use one of these foam blocks from Dollar Tree to stand my ghost on, but so that way the green doesn't show through the ghost, even though it's thicker and fuller this way. I went ahead and took some felt from Dollar Tree and I wrapped the foam block in the felt. I just hot glued it down and wrapped each end like a present. And then I took my mop, and it is already pretty much sectioned in half, so you just have to grab that section and flip it over to the middle there where the plastic shows. And then I took some hot glue and I hot glued that foam block onto the mop head, and it stands up pretty well now with that, so you could leave it like that, but later on I decided to put a stand on it, and I'll show you that later. But before that, I went ahead and cut out some eyes with some black felt from Dollar Tree. I just made 2 ovals. I didn't measure and I didn't trace anything out. I just kind of cut them big, and then I worked my way down to the size that I wanted it cut to. And then I used some hot glue to just hot glue those eyes on top of the mop. Next, I needed something to cover up that black piece on top of the ghost's head. So there was a witch's hat in this pumpkin decorating kit from Dollar Tree. So I pulled it out, and then there was these little purple pieces on it. So I just pulled those off. They were just hot glued on. And then I hot glued the hat on top of the ghost's head, and that worked perfectly. Then I decided my ghost needed a mouth, so I used some more of that felt and just cut a teardrop shape out and hot glued that to my ghost. Then I also decided that I needed a bow on my ghost hat, so I just used some ribbon from Dollar Tree and put a little wooden bat from Dollar Tree onto the middle of the ribbon and hot glued it onto my hat. Now I'm going to make a stand out of the square piece from Dollar Tree and a sign out of the other wooden piece from Dollar Tree. I spray painted both of these pieces black, and then I took some white chalk paint, and I'm just going to use a small paintbrush, and I'm going to write the word boo onto my sign. And then I hot glued my ghost onto the square wood piece so that way it would stand up nicely. And then I hot glued my sign onto my wood piece, and I think this ghost turned out super cute. This next DIY, I'm going to use 3 of these white styrofoam pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use some white chalk paint. I just painted each one of these pumpkins with the white chalk paint just to cover up the styrofoam look. I did 2 coats. And then I found these cute little bat cupcake toppers at Dollar Tree, and I need to take the sticks out, so I just used some pliers and I pulled the sticks out. They come out pretty easily. And then once those were all out, I'm going to take my pumpkin and I'm going to hot glue my bats onto my pumpkin. I hot glued them kind of like they were flying up and out and off of the pumpkin, if that makes sense, but you can hot glue them in any pattern, any direction you would choose, and you can do 1, 2, 3 or more of these pumpkins, how many ever you would like. I just like to do things in 3s. And then the last thing I did was I painted each one of the stems with some black chalk paint, and that was it for this. I think it turned out really cute. This last DIY is super easy and very affordable. I just took these LED battery operated pillar candles from Dollar Tree, and I took some of these cupcake wrappers from Dollar Tree. These ones have the spider webs on them. They did have ones with bats on them. I just chose to use the spider webs for this project, but I think either one would be cute. I took out one of the cupcake wrappers, and I am just going to cut off the tabs on each end of the cupcake wrappers because they won't connect for what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is wrap the cupcake wrapper around the candle. So to do that and to make sure that the wrapper sticks to the candle, I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue around the rim of the cupcake wrapper, and then I'm just going to place that on to the candle and flatten it out all the way to each end. And then where I cut off the tabs on each end, there's still a little bit of rim left on those, so I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue to each side of those to tack both sides of those down so that way it stays nice and neat. And that is it for this DIY. It is super easy, super simple. But I think it makes a big statement, especially if you have a bunch of them put together and they're all lit up. It looks really pretty and elegant, but spooky at the same time. And you can always order these candles online at dollartree.com in a minimum of 4. So if you can't find them in the store, you can go there. All right, guys, that is it for these DIYs. I hope you enjoyed them today. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.